My name is Teresa Lockwood. I reside in Vineland, New Jersey. And I have no idea why I'm recording this, but I know what purpose it serves. But I think it will. I'm not sure why. But, or else I wouldn't do it. But I'm sitting here listening to. Hold on.
Understand what I'm saying? A similar conversation, similar principles, but man, that conversation can be very different. Yeah. So, being curious, staying curious is the key. So, we ask some questions. Observation is all about asking questions. We're going to play a detective, right? So, who, what, where, when, why, and how. To find out, we also do discover that what kind of writing that in the first part, I had to be enhanced.
I know where it is.
That I use. I kind of read the scripture.
I find it.
And then I read it from the text from different translations. So when I read it, I'll read it, and then I'll go to.
They're not translations, by the way.
Translations. I just kind of start there. Then
He's calling forged abominable Bible, false Bibles, translations.
And then ultimately in it as we
okay.
Through me.
I don't know where it is.
Because important to
I just had it.
Change, but hey, that I read 10 years ago, and it can mean something can change. To these important to understand. This passage.
So there's this book.
The tone of the again was.
He put it up here.
What a commentary. Sometimes when I type and write it down, and then okay, and you guys, this is kind of what I. How do I see God? I see God.
He doesn't understand what a commentary is. Commentary is supposed to be interpretation, a view of what things exist. He comes up and uses other people's commentary that's unrelated to the Bible. I've dealt with this when I was in this church.
That right now.
So,
you know what I mean? I'm feeling like I've been admonished, or I feel.
So he puts up this book, so I just ordered it.
Why we're doing that's such thing.
It's just strangely.
Takes it away.
I don't know where it is. All right.
There's a different scripture with a different thought and a different idea, and you get to look. That was nice. I'm on my way.
I don't know. He has his other book, but
again, that's one of the. How much time do I? I'm going to say my prayers before the end of the night. I'm going to do whatever, but how often do I really reflect on what I read all day long?
I reflect on everything everybody says every night. I meditate on it. And I have to throw away most of the garbage. Especially these false sermons. And sit there in prayer with God. They pray in vain, so whatever. Okay, I don't know where it is. I can't find it.
This now to me. Okay? And looking at myself as we go through the application process. How do I see the activity of God in this passage? It's a great question to ask this. And then ultimately, step 3 circles around this. The resource.
I'm trying to look for this. I don't have to see the window. Alright, so I'm not going to be able to find it. Look, I had it right there. Alright. So anyway, he is talking about this book. Alright, he hasn't even read the Bible. So, apparently, I just ordered it. It's arriving Saturday. See? So, this, I hope, this was actually pretty cheap, but the book is not that cheap. But, I hope that wasn't, I don't know. I hope that wasn't, I don't think it's a used one. But I was trying to stay away from the used one. But, look, if you go to Amazon, if there's an expensive book, like $50 to $80. I mean, sometimes I'll buy them like that. It all depends what the book is. You can find them. You can get used for like really cheap, or you can get but this is only $20.25. Seriously, that's what I found on Amazon. So. I don't know if it's like new or new. Sit there. Hold on. I'm gonna sit there and give me information about that particular book. Oh, I can't smell my screen. Alright, so, Yeah, I was looking for a new one, but I think I found it might have been new, but it might have got recycled or something. I'm not really sure. So I have bought used books on Amazon that were like just really expensive. That were make sure they're in good condition. But what good condition is to somebody could be like different things. So I tried to buy brand new books if it's that's complicated. Okay, so I have spent like years ago. Anyway, so the thing is that look, so I bought the book, but I don't think I'm going to read it because last time I actually bought a book, I bought it from the Book Nook, brand new. I bought because I was wanting to get to like main sources of their false prophet and what they believe, and John Wesley. I did research before that, so I'm not sure exactly when I bought the book, about like 8-10 years ago. I'm not sure exactly. But that was a very expensive book. It was like $200. Wait, hold on. That one might not have been that. I think it was another book that was that much. But I wouldn't buy that online at all. So, okay, here it is. So, he's, I couldn't find it. I was just like going over it. So, I just got that to see what he's talking about because he keeps boasting in it. So I have to critique it. It could turn out to be, my critique could be, turn out to be good. Highly doubt it. These are false Christians. The thing is, the book is very thick. It looks like it's about probably a 400-page book, I think. The thing is I actually, my research and reading books actually changed when I went through a trauma. So, I was always researching. I actually increased in my research because I went through a trauma. I used to research like excessively all the time, like a lot, since I was 19, not because of a trauma, but just for various reasons, to study different works or whatever, and roots and things that are influenced society basically, and basically focusing on against Bible cult abuse and things like that, as I thoroughly just went through researching the Bible, because I grew up with a lot of false teachings, and to throw away, well, just about everything that people try to convince me, like, completely. I never really accepted it because I didn't understand it. So I had to, yes, I had to judge the Bible to see if it was true or not. That's what I did. So I went through it. But yeah, I did accept it, just not their false teachings of it. If I found the Bible to be, well, garbage, I would have exposed it as it is, but I can't do that. So, the Word of God has proved itself to be recorded in the Bible, and be authoritative. So, I mean, it wouldn't have changed my views about God. I didn't become a believer in God by the Bible or by a church, so I was actually against their beliefs. So it was God who basically called me to Him, and chose me, and taught me. So yeah, there. Anyway, so the thing is that, let me just record this real quick. Which protected me from the false teachings of the churches. So I'm going to go on.
A lot of these questions for us, as we look at those. Word study, again, was when we're kind of jumping back into of the letter, and what it was, the purpose, and why it was written, and why the writer wrote it. But his tone can also change throughout the course of the letter, dependent upon exactly the conversation at the point. Okay? So we'll look at that. What is the main theme, thought, idea of the passage, the book, the letter, all of those kinds of things? Very important for us to kind of understand. And again, this book answers a lot of these questions for us, as we look at those. Word study,
okay.
again.
So I'm going to be critiquing that book. Anyway, yeah. So my research increased. It was basically a trauma, and actually a actually was on the same pattern of my research that I did for like 20 years, I guess. And so the thing is, it altered a bit when I went through the trauma because of this cult. And since 2004, it excessively increased. Um, to actually probably distance me from the trauma a little bit. So the thing is, I went through other traumas, and I went through this other particular trauma. And what happened was, I wound up, while I was doing my research, I wound up buying a book of John Wesley of the... Actually, I have it. Hold on. Because I was persecuted by Wesleyans. So, it's, okay. So, yeah. Hold on. Ow, ow, ow. I have a bad arm, so that really hurt. This is, I did not finish it, because what happened was I had the book. I started to read it. I went through a trauma. And my thinking altered. Not my thinking, but, how I did things, how I researched things, how I read things. It altered, actually. So, this is 1,000. Okay, over 1,300. Okay, 1,300 pages. So, I don't know if I'll ever read it or not, but at least it's not as bad as Aristotle's works. No, I did not read that. The works of Aristotle. I was in the library, but I would when I was in intense research, I would go through it here or there, and not straight through, but like different main points. And reading Aristotle, and the book is like 7,000 pages. So obviously I didn't read that. So in accumulation of my research, I probably have read like, I don't even know. Like, I mean, it could have been like, yeah, a lot more than that. More than triple the amount of that in research. So I probably could have read through it. But that wasn't my focus, my focal point, even though I did study Aristotle, because I found a lot of his influences in the world, and actually there was, okay, when I first started studying Aristotle, was before I went to this church. It altered, and I basically went back into it because of, these false teachings, actually, that they were influencing. And I realized it was like through a lot of influences in society, in the court system, in churches. I mean, just many different things, like among humanity. So, and how he questioned it. I actually love the way he questioned things. He was a seeker of truth. I have to admit that. He was also very pagan. I found him actually to be a very, very humble person. I just started liking Aristotle, studying Aristotle. Even though I rejected and disagree with a lot of things he said. So he was pagan, so the thing is, I got back into it because they started bringing up these idiots, like, well, some things, I mean, not everybody has, like, I don't know how to say this. I just sit there, like Carl Jung and all this other stuff or whatever. I got back into researching them. So, I mean, there was like, they made some good points, I mean, but, they're not Christian or whatever, but, say made very humble, good, refutes, against like a confusing society or what have you. They just brought their own confusion with it. So, I find that to happen, and so the thing is, yeah. So I'm waiting for this book. The thing is, this is. I can tell you right now. I don't know how many pages that book is. It looks to be. I don't know. It looks to be probably a little more than like 400 pages. Like, seriously, if you're going to read the Bible, you're going to sit there and read this whole other book to sit there and walk through the Bible. Like, I don't get it. So, I mean, I'm going to see. I mean, it could, I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I'm a theologian. I give points and teach points about how to understand certain things in the Bible. I basically went through my own walk through researching the Bible. I do not use other people's commentary. I have criticized other people's commentary. I read a lot of horrible things. Just like, oh my gosh, like, seriously, like, completely disconnected from basically the Bible. I wouldn't recommend you basically go into like a 400, 500, 600, 700 page book to go through the Bible. It's not necessary. Okay, I have read a lot of, studied actually a lot of other people's works, and their false interpretations of the Bible, how they tell you to, like this book, Walk Through the Bible. I mean, if you want to critique that, I would recommend Summary Basics. But the thing is, unless you understand, I mean, you can get an understanding of the Israelite law by reading the Bible. That is the main source to start, not with another book. Okay. I recommend to basically, I'm going to do another video on that because I don't want to, turn this into a teaching. But, the thing is that, like I said, that's not necessary. So, I don't know what their point is. Yeah. So all I know is they brought a lot of false works. When I was going there, they were handing me these books. I mean, I still have a couple of them. They were just like thin books. I have no problem with that. I am a big researcher. I research like big volume books. So they handed me a couple books to read. Experiencing God, which I realized the person didn't experience God. So I think the person was trying to bully me and insult me, because I was basically speaking about spiritual experiences, and then rightly criticized the book, and actually didn't understand it because he was actually insulting me about different things, and then it was actually what the false teacher was insulting me about things like my spiritual poetry, and like other things. Basically my gift and my talent, given by God, and my character, not my sin, but he would insult things that are righteous about me, and he was just mentally abusing me and gaslighting me. So, the thing is that, he was just bullying me, is what he was doing. So, the thing is, he was, claiming that poetry was a sin, and I was very kind to him. I was just like, well, there's, I find some things in the Bible like poetic, and there's songs in the Bible that are poetic, and things like that, or whatever. And I just try to, like talk to them, and they just controlled my every conversation to make sure I just didn't speak. So they were very passive aggressively abusive. So anyway, the thing is that, so I basically, critiqued that book. It was called Experiencing God or something like that. The person just, like I said, they didn't experience God. So there was a lot of false teachings in it, false claims, and, a mix of truth, of course. But, yeah, I'm not sure. From the mentality of this guy here, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy is promoting a book that he did not read. On top of that, he's promoting a Bible he did not read. On top of that, he's promoting a forged false Bibles because he does not understand or can discern much of Christian teachings. I know for a fact he didn't read the Bible through. So he doesn't even know it's true or not. On top of that, he's using forged false Bibles and claiming that they're translations when they're not. So he doesn't understand. You can't make a claim about a Bible unless you read it read thoroughly through the Bible. Sorry, and can interpret. Of course, I've watched people read through the Bible. It was interesting watching them, and even several times, like through certain books, and they still could not interpret and understand what was in the Bible, and still basically lean on these shallow, false teachings that were completely against Christianity, against God, against the prophets, against Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable. That would be Calvary Chapel, Vineland, Francopolito, and he didn't care. He's just a willful Bible abuser, cult abuser, scam artist, or whatever. So, they colluded together, persecuting me. So I don't know, but so I ordered that book, and yeah, I'm going to own that.